I went from knowing basically nothing about chess to hitting 1,000 elo in just 27 days. It's not about grinding hundreds of games or memorizing openings. I followed a smart and focused plan. If you're stuck in triple digits and confused by what to study, this video is for you. I'll break down my 1-month approach, the one opening I used as white, how I played as black, and the simple tactics that won most of my games. And stay tuned for my crazy game that got me to 1,000 elo. A lot of players stay under 800 because they jump straight into games before they understand what's happening. They play more and more, but they just repeat the same mistakes. Playing is useful, but only if you know what to look for. So I took a different approach. I spent the first 2 weeks without playing a single rated game. Instead, I watched Danya's low elo analysis videos to understand how chess works in a basic level, how to think during a game, and how to exploit common mistakes. I wasn't just trying to memorize stuff like openings or move orders, I was building actual understanding, and that gave me a huge head start over most beginners. So, the first thing to do is to watch some low elo analysis videos, especially teaching sessions with beginner players. While watching those videos, I practiced tactics from a book, but I made one key decision. I didn't try to learn every tactic at once. Beginners make that mistake. They scatter their attention and learn little. Instead, I focused on the 2 tactics that win most beginner games, pins and forks. My daily routine was simple: 10 pin puzzles, 10 fork puzzles, and 10 made in 1 or made in 2. Every day, no skipping, no random puzzle grinding, just focused repetition. This made me start spotting these tactics automatically in games. Before each move, I'd ask, is there a pin I can create? Or, can I fork 2 pieces next move? Those 2 questions found wins that other players missed. So my second recommendation is to focus on just 2 tactical themes, pins and forks, along with some simple mates patterns. When it was time to play seriously, I kept openings simple. As white, I chose one opening and stuck with it, the Italian game. I didn't learn multiple openings. At beginner levels, games are usually decided by blunders and tactics, not deep theory. The Italian gives quick development, center control, and chances to attack, exactly what I needed. As black, I didn't memorize lines either. Often I just mirrored my opponent's first move when it made sense, then followed basic development. Knights out, castle, control the center. I played mostly longer time controls, 15 plus 10 or 10 plus 0, so I had time to think and look for those tactics I practiced. So here's how it all came together. My journey was really just 3 simple steps. First, I learned from a grandmaster's perspective before even touching the board. Then I drilled 2 key tactical patterns until they became second nature. Finally, I picked one opening and I played with enough time to actually think. That combination gave me a huge boost. In just 2 weeks of study and 2 weeks of focused play, I was already beating players under 900 consistently. And by day 27, I crossed 1,000 elo. To really show you how these ideas play out in practice, let's break down the game that actually pushed me over the 1,000 mark. It's a wild one, full of tactics, missed chances, blunders, and a final checkmate that you're not gonna forget. Let's jump in. The game begins with e4, e5, knight to c3, knight f6, d3, bishop c5, bishop g5, and castle. I got my pieces out, I castled my king, everything looked good. White plays pawn h3, I respond with pawn to h6, asking the bishop a question. White decides on bishop takes knight on f6. That trade gives me an active queen right in the center, already eyeing the weak f2 pawn. Not the best choice for white. White plays knight f3, a solid move. It covers the f2 square and develops another piece. I continue with knight c6. Then white jumps in with knight d5, hitting my queen and also threatening the c7 square. So I slide my queen to d6. After pawn to c3, I wanted to open up the f file so my rook could join the pressure against f2. That's why I played pawn to f5. And after knight h4, we get a classic beginner level motif. Black rips open the center and targets the weak f2 square. The key ideas are simple. Look for checks, open files, and unleash that powerful f-pawn break. Bishop takes f2, check, and suddenly the knight on h4 is also falling. You can see that I spent almost 5 minutes setting up this attack, but my opponent wasn't paying attention. After bishop takes h4, my opponent tries to counter with queen to b3. A strong move, setting up the idea of a discovered attack once the knight moves. But I cut straight through with rook f2, check. White king tries to run with king d3. I play bishop g5, then after h4 I bring in rook to d2 check, king c4, and here comes knight a5 check. A royal fork. The king slides to b5. And here's where I slip. I played queen c6 thinking it was mate, but I completely missed that white could just capture my knight. And somehow, he misses it too. He goes king b4. I grab his queen, he recaptures with a takes b3. I'm low on time at this point, so I'm only hunting for checks. I played bishop e7 check, but in reality, I just hung a whole bishop with another royal fork. White, still moving instantly, blunders right back with king a6. I return the favor with queen a6 check. And from nowhere, a bishop swoops in and takes my queen. After pawn b6 check, the king steps to b5. c6 check, king c4. At that moment, I saw that pawn b5 would actually be checkmate, except the bishop was still guarding that square. So I cleared it away with bishop takes a6, rook takes a6, and pawn b5. Checkmate. Final takeaways. Learn from strong players' explanations so you start thinking like them. Drill 2 core tactics until finding them becomes second nature. Play longer games with one easy opening and focus on applying what you learned. If you're just starting out, you don't need talent or memorization. You just need structure, focus, and the patience to build a solid foundation. Good luck and have fun.